Welcome to Week 8 of our BIM Heroes CPD learning program on business development for AEC. We'll be reviewing articles provided by leaders in our community.
That's right.
This week, as outlined by Russ Monrose in the program's summary Learning Objective and Workbook, our focus is on business development strategies for growth, the final bumper section of our 8-week course.
Yeah, it sounds like a big one. Russ seems keen for us all to take away some really practical knowledge.
Definitely. Knowledge for our businesses or, even just our own personal growth within AEC and the related owner and investor industries.
Absolutely. And what really jumps out is just how broad the scope is for this final week. It really underscores how vital a proactive business development mindset is in the AEC world.
Spot on. That image Russ included, the cityscape with the growth charts.
Yeah.
It really drives home that forward-looking perspective, doesn't it?
It does. It sets the scene perfectly for discussing long-term success.
So we'll be digging into some really interesting ideas around new tech, business diversification, drawing on insights from Tayfun PARLAK and Richard Schreiber.
And also Russ Monrose's own points on actually measuring success. How do you know if your BD efforts are working?
Exactly. Russ is pretty clear in this project-based, constantly changing AEC sector. Having solid BD strategies isn't just nice to have.
No, it's essential. It's fundamental for staying competitive.
It's about fostering those relationships, yeah.
Yeah.
And finding ways to stand out in what's often a really crowded market.
And exploring new markets, too. Diversifying services, leveraging all those emerging trends and technologies we keep hearing about.
And thinking bigger picture, Russ makes the point that a good BD plan isn't just about landing the next project, it's also a safety net.
Right. It helps businesses ride out those market ups and downs, the shifts in client demands. Without that plan, you risk stagnating.
Or just losing out to competitors who are being more proactive.
And Russ also mentions, and this is key, I think, how a solid plan opens doors. Joint ventures, partnerships. It fuels innovation.
Which is vital for long-term health. So this week is absolutely packed. Russ has laid out the main areas.
Yeah, things like scaling, using land and expand.
Diversifying revenue streams. Innovation and differentiation.
Aligning profit with purpose, that's an interesting one. Managing risk.
Yeah.
Measuring success.
And the role of emerging tech like VR, AR, and AI. It's a lot to cover.
It is. And Russ reminds everyone, actively read the articles, mark them complete for your CPD record, get those BIM Heroes participation rewards.
Good reminder. Okay, let's get started. First up, scaling your business using land and expand from Russ Monrose.
Okay. What's really interesting in Russ's take on land and expand is how it's presented as a phased approach. It seems particularly well suited for AEC with its long-term relationships.
Yeah, he stresses that the initial landing, it isn't about going for the biggest possible contract straight away.
No, it's about securing a smaller kind of entry point, a foothold, showing your value, building trust.
That's a great way to put it. Russ says the landing stage is about a low-risk connection. You figure out the client's immediate pain points.
And then you deliver a really specific, tailored solution for that, like a targeted strike.
Exactly. Let us solve this one problem for you first.
And it's how you deliver in that land phase that sets up the expand part. Russ really hammers home that delivering value, excellent customer service. That's crucial.
That's what builds the trust for future, maybe bigger things.
Right. And the expansion, Russ explains, isn't always just about selling more to the same team.
No, it could be identifying needs in other departments or different parts of their business entirely.
That initial success story becomes your internal reference, your proof.
And I thought this was smart.
Yeah.
Russ mentions how pricing and contracts often evolve. The complex stuff, like SLAs or consumption models.
They often come later in the expand phase. You don't want to overload that initial land deal. Keep it simpler.
Makes sense. He does give a practical tip, though. Maybe build in some volume-based pricing options from the start.
Yeah, just to make those expansion talks smoother down the line. Smart thinking.
And for that initial land, Russ says, find the path of least resistance.
What's the easiest way in? What value proposition is simple for them to grasp, implement, and, get behind internally?
He even suggests it could be something relatively small, like a training program or a focused consultation.
A lower commitment way to experience your expertise.
So the takeaway for you, the listener, is to really think strategically about those entry points. Which department, which location offers the easiest start and the best potential for growth.
And Russ notes, often expanding within that first department where you've already proven yourself. That's the logical next step.
Then once you've got that success, you actively showcase it elsewhere in their organization.
Those internal champions and success stories are gold dust for expansion.
Absolutely. So ultimately, Russ sees land and expand as turning that first sale into a long-term partnership.
Maximizing client success and your own revenue growth through ongoing collaboration. Makes perfect sense.
Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Still with Russ Monrose, but now looking at his article on diversifying revenue streams in AEC, new services and markets.
Right. And what's striking here is Russ's emphasis on why diversification is so critical, particularly right now.
He really highlights the vulnerability of relying on just one income stream in AEC, doesn't he? With the economic cycles, the tech changes, shifting client demands.
It's not just nice to have anymore. It's pretty fundamental for resilience. Adaptability.
He points out how external factors have already forced changes in how we work, so maybe now is the perfect time to explore new directions.
Definitely. And by moving into new services, new markets, you lessen that dependency. You can start to tap into trends like sustainability, smart tech.
And Russ argues it's not just about risk mitigation either. Diversification actually fuels innovation.
Yeah, it forces you to apply existing skills in new ways, reach new customer segments, maybe even cater to niche demands.
And it builds stronger client relationships because you're offering more comprehensive solutions.
The end game. More stable revenue, a reputation as an innovator, and just more opportunities for growth overall. Future-proofing, really.
So Russ gets specific. He outlines 6 diverse opportunities. First, embracing green and sustainable building solutions.
His core message here seems to be about deep integration. Sustainability shouldn't be an add-on. It needs to be embedded. Understanding standards like LEED, BREEAM.
Investing in training, developing innovative solutions like energy-efficient systems, low-carbon materials.
And the new services, things like green building consulting, carbon footprint analysis, retrofitting existing buildings.
Markets for this. Governments, big corporations with ESG goals, eco-conscious developers. It's a growing area.
Definitely. Second opportunity, expanding into smart and connected building technologies.
The key here is seamlessly integrating IoT with design and engineering expertise.
Right. The value is in optimizing how buildings work, improving sustainability, enhancing the occupant experience, and making sure it's all future-proof.
New services could be smart building design, integration, data analytics for building performance, even cybersecurity for these systems.
And the markets. Commercial buildings wanting efficiency, smart city projects, places focused on occupant well-being.
Okay, third, capitalizing on modular and prefabrication opportunities.
Russ suggests dedicated facilities or partnerships for producing high-quality, standardized components.
Which means faster delivery, lower costs potentially. He also flags the importance of BIM for planning and integrating these modules precisely.
Target markets. Residential, healthcare, education, anywhere speed and cost are big drivers.
And new services would include providing the modular solutions themselves, designed tailored for modular, and on-site assembly.
Makes sense. Fourth area, focusing on niche and specialized sectors.
This is about deep expertise, understanding the unique needs of, say, defense, pharma, data centers.
Getting the right skills, certifications, building a portfolio, even with smaller projects initially, to show capability.
New services here could be designing data centers, high-security construction, specialized biotech facilities.
And markets. Tech growth regions, highly regulated industries, emerging markets needing specialized infrastructure.
Fifth, catering to disaster recovery and resilience.
This means positioning your firm as a go-to for rapid, reliable solutions after disasters. Expertise in resilient design is key.
And partnerships are crucial. Government agencies, NGOs, insurance firms. Though Russ rightly notes you need a proven track record here.
New services, resilient design consulting, disaster preparedness planning, deploying emergency structures quickly.
Markets are obviously disaster-prone regions, emergency services, the insurance sector.
And finally, Russ brings it all together with the need for developing an action plan for business growth.
You can't just stumble into diversification. You need a clear plan, defined roles, timelines. Maximize efficiency.
Key steps he mentions. Market analysis, leveraging existing skills, strategic partnerships, pilot projects, customer engagement.
And he gives a little plug for the BIM Heroes courses too. Okay, let's transition now to Tayfun PARLAK's two-parter, starting with Unlocking Growth, Diversifying Revenue Streams in the AEC Industry, Part 1.
Yeah, Tayfun's pieces are great because they're packed with practical strategies and real-world case studies. He breaks it down into expanding services, tapping new markets, and leveraging tech.
Let's start with expanding services. First up, digital twin and BIM services.
Tayfun suggests offering specialized BIM consulting, creating digital twins, using data analytics for owners and facility managers, providing that whole life cycle view.
And the Sydney Opera House case study is fascinating, using a digital twin linked to BIM to manage complex systems.
Exactly. It created new revenue streams, model development, platform integration, analytics, training, and improved efficiency for the Opera House itself, reduced maintenance costs.
Next, Tayfun covers sustainability and energy efficiency consulting.
This taps into that growing demand, offering help with green certifications, energy modeling, carbon footprint assessments.
The Bosco Vertical Towers in Milan are the example here. A firm generated revenue doing carbon assessments and designing those unique vegetation systems.
Offering services like vegetation strategy consulting, energy modeling, carbon offset planning. Very specialized.
Then there's facilities management and smart building integration.
Broadening services to include FM, using IoT sensors and data analytics for optimal building performance over its life.
The Burj Khalifa case study fits here, installing a comprehensive BMS with IoT, predictive maintenance, analytics.
Creating revenue from BMS setup, ongoing maintenance contracts, performance reports, sustainability consulting. It improved performance and cut costs for the client.
And the last one under expanding services in Part 1 is modular construction solutions.
Offering the whole package, modular design, manufacturing, assembly, meeting that demand for cost and time savings.
The Marriott Hotel in New York is the case study, a 26-story hotel built using modular methods.
Generating revenue through modular design, manufacturing, assembly, logistics, and completing the project much faster than traditional methods. Impressive.
Okay, now let's look at Tayfun's second pillar, tapping into new markets. First, emerging geographies.
He highlights regions like Southeast Asia, Africa, the Middle East, places with rapid urbanization offering significant growth potential.
The Lagos example shows firms partnering locally for affordable housing, using prefab and improving infrastructure, using BIM for efficiency.
Next, market strategy. Specialized sectors.
Leveraging specific expertise to target niches like healthcare, data centers, renewable energy infrastructure.
The Edge Building in Amsterdam, that ultra-sustainable office, is a case study for firms offering specialized green building consulting.
And finally, for Part 1, residential and affordable housing projects.
Addressing the global housing crisis by delivering cost-effective, quality housing often requires partnerships with governments or NGOs. The Housing for All project in India is an example, using eco-friendly materials, solar energy, and large-scale affordable housing.
Okay, great overview of Part 1. Let's dive straight into Part 2 of Tayfun PARLAK's article.
Right, so in Part 2, Tayfun focuses on collaboration and strategic partnerships, adapting business models, and upskilling the workforce.
Starting with collaboration, he looks at cross-industry alliances first.
Partnering with firms from totally different sectors, accessing new markets, combining expertise for innovative solutions.
The Accenture and Skanska case study is interesting, using digital twins for a smart office building. A win-win.
Accenture got a modern workspace, and both positioned themselves as innovators.
And the Turner Construction and Prologis partnership, combining construction know-how with logistics real estate expertise for distribution centers.
Meeting that booming e-commerce demand. Smart collaboration.
Tayfun also mentions public-private partnerships, PPPs, as a collaborative route for large-scale infrastructure projects, sharing the risk.
Makes sense. Now onto adapting business models for flexibility. First, subscription-based services.
Offering services for a recurring fee, predictable revenue, stronger client ties.
The Skanska and Arup example of a subscription-based office space model is quite forward-thinking. Flexible, sustainable solutions instead of traditional leases.
The other model is Design, Build, Operate, DBO.
This is a big shift, getting involved beyond design and construction, into the operational phase, securing long-term revenue. The Turner Construction and Siemens partnership on a smart building DBO model illustrates this. Turner built it, Siemens operates it, a long-term service relationship.
And finally, Tayfun addresses upskilling the workforce for diversification.
Absolutely critical. If you're moving into new services or markets, your team needs the right skills, requires investment in training and development.
He points to some resources on flexible models and workforce skilling too. Okay, let's move on to ALShimaa Allam's article. Innovation and differentiation, standing out in the market.
ALShimaa really nails the importance of innovation in AEC, not just for efficiency, but for creativity, opening new markets. She defines it simply as a successfully implemented new way of doing something.
And she connects innovation directly to differentiation. How do you stand out? She challenges the idea that it's all about price.
Exactly. She pushes back on that, exploring social return on investment, SROI, innovation itself, and efficient methods as key differentiators.
She calls out the price-driven dilemma. Focusing only on low cost can hurt quality, stifle innovation, increase risk, and leave clients unhappy.
It's a short-term game, potentially.
Instead, she talks about the power of SROI, quantifying that broader societal and environmental impact. It offers a more complete value proposition.
Like sustainable construction that benefits the community and environment, not just the building owner's bottom line.
Then there's the innovation imperative. She stresses it's more than just adopting tech. It's a mindset, continuous improvement, creativity.
Which can lead to new services, better processes, even new business models. But she adds a crucial point. You need to assess the risk-reward and have a marketing plan for any innovation.
You can't just invent something and hope people notice.
Precisely. ALShimaa then gives 6 ways to communicate your differentiation effectively, beyond just specs. Build a strong brand, craft a compelling value proposition, use social media smartly.
Tell your story, be consistent across channels, and maybe engage influencers or brand ambassadors.
She also provides a 5-step process for tailoring differentiation strategies. Market research, segmenting your market, competitor analysis, personalizing the customer experience.
And crucially, continuous adaptation and innovation. You can't stand still.
Which leads to her point that monitoring and adaptation are crucial. She gives tips, regular reviews, stay informed, embrace feedback, leverage tech, keep innovating.
She uses Apple as the classic example of continuous evolution and differentiation.
Right. And finally, ALShimaa challenges us to rethink traditional practices, things like performance-based incentives instead of just bonuses.
Moving beyond simple utilization rates to maybe a revenue factor, more frequent feedback instead of just annual reviews.
Getting diverse perspectives in the boardroom, creating a positive work environment to keep talent, lots of food for thought there.
Definitely. Now let's turn to Russ Monrose again, this time on aligning profit with purpose, a diversified future for the AEC industry.
Russ really frames this around the big transformations, hitting AEC's stagnant productivity, changing client expectations, environmental pressures. He argues these demand a shift towards integrating profit with purpose.
He mentions that worrying stat about construction productivity lagging behind manufacturing. It highlights the need for change.
And he emphasizes the growing importance of environmental and social responsibility. It's driven by regulations, client values, global frameworks like the UN SDGs.
Meaning firms have to balance profit with environmental stewardship. It's not optional anymore.
This era demands innovation, tackling inefficiencies, and seizing opportunities like digital tech and sustainable practices.
So why diversification matters in this context? Russ links it directly back to those productivity and environmental pressures. It's a necessary response.
He makes the point that sustainable leaders often see higher profit margins. Purpose and profit can align.
He then outlines 5 key areas for diversification that achieve this alignment. First, sustainability.
Opportunities in green certifications, net zero design, renewables integration, circular economy principles. Market trends show green buildings have higher asset values, lower life cycle costs. He mentions Skanska's deep green journey.
Second, digital transformation. Integrating BIM, IoT, digital twins to streamline operations, create recurring revenue via digital consulting, reduces cost and time.
Singapore's Smart Nation initiative is the big example here.
Third, modular construction, addressing affordability and efficiency. Huge projected market growth. Shorter cycles, lower costs.
Lend-Lease's Conveso Concavo project is his case study.
Fourth, life cycle services, going beyond construction into maintenance, retrofitting, energy audits, predictive monitoring, builds long-term relationships, recurring revenue.
Honeywell's life cycle solutions are mentioned.
And fifth, expanding into emerging markets, high growth potential where there's infrastructure need, often through partnerships.
The Kigali Innovation City in Rwanda is the example.
Then Russ directly tackles why sustainability aligns with profitability. Green buildings have higher asset values, lower operational costs, like energy savings.
The financial world is also leaning in more green bonds being issued, and ESG factors are increasingly vital for attracting investment and boosting corporate value.
So Russ concludes that diversification, embracing sustainability, modular, digital, life cycle services is now an industry imperative. It requires bold leadership, continuous innovation.
A powerful call to action. Okay, let's move to Ian Rogers' article on managing risks and preparing for market downturns.
Ian dives into a critical topic, the complex web of risks in AEC, and the need for solid management frameworks. And he introduces an interesting angle with decentralized autonomous organizations, DAOs.
He starts by categorizing the risks. First, economic volatility, GDP, interest rates, inflation driving up material costs, global trade issues like supply chains, tariffs.
Then project-specific risks, unexpected site conditions, scope creep, navigating regulations, the day-to-day challenges.
Also market dynamics, sustainability trends, and the risk of falling behind on tech like BIM or automation.
And workforce challenges, the skills gap, site safety, always major concerns.
Ian then outlines comprehensive risk management strategies. Number 1, advanced risk assessment, data analysis, scenario planning, engaging stakeholders early.
Number 2, enhanced contract management, clear, fair terms, maybe incentive models like project partnering contracts, strong force majeure clauses.
Third, portfolio diversification, balancing public-private work, expanding across sectors like infrastructure, renewables, modular. Don't put all eggs in one basket.
Fourth, insurance and bonding, still essential for financial protection against the unforeseen.
And fifth, technology adoption, using BIM, collaboration platforms, data analytics to spot and manage risks better.
Then Ian shifts to preparing for market downturns, how to build resilience. First, financial preparedness.
Cash reserves, cost control through things like lean construction, strategic investments, even when times are tough, like in innovation or training.
Second, operational efficiency. Automating processes, flexible workforce models, digital collaboration tools he mentions Plannerly, RCDOX.
Third, client relationship management, proactive communication, offering value adds like consultancy or maintenance, being flexible, keep those clients close.
And fourth, workforce stability. Upskilling, engaging employees, maybe alternative work arrangements to retain talent.
Now here's the novel part, the role of DAOs in risk management. Ian suggests they could offer collective risk mitigation through pooled resources and decentralized decisions.
Also, enhanced transparency via blockchain and smart contracts, flexible financing through milestone payments or asset tokenization, and improved collaboration globally.
It's quite forward-thinking. He gives potential case studies, DAOs and modular construction, renewables, post-disaster rebuilding.
He wraps up with an action plan for AEC firms. Adopt proactive risk management, boost financial resilience, optimize operations, strengthen client ties, invest in people, explore DAOs, and constantly monitor the market.
Very thorough. Okay, next up is Russ Monrose again on measuring overall business development success.
Russ starts by saying you need both quantitative and qualitative metrics aligned with your strategy. But he immediately adds a crucial layer, the human element.
Right. He asks, even if the numbers show a problem, do you have the right people with the skills to interpret those numbers and fix the underlying issues?
He flags poor management and inadequate management training as potential root causes, more so than just bad luck or market conditions. The numbers don't fix themselves.
Leadership is key, and he stresses early identification of changing conditions, both internal and external, but just seeing them isn't enough.
You need a plan to respond.
He then lists warning signs that might predict trouble ahead, things to watch closely.
Like a declining win rate. Maybe your sales process is broken. Low client retention, are clients unhappy? High cost of client acquisition, are your marketing sales inefficient?
Also, declining market share, are competitors eating your lunch? High employee turnover, signs of internal problems. Reliance on one major client or market, that's risky.
And finally, lack of clear or unrealistic goals means no focus.
Russ then talks about sales managers needing to farm existing accounts, while compensation plans should incentivize new business.
Marketing needs to target new clients based on solid research. And he's blunt. Complacent salespeople should not be tolerated. Might need changes in sales management.
Then he lists specific business KPIs to track. 1. Revenue and profitability growth. Are sales and margins increasing?
2. Client acquisition. How many new clients are you getting? What's the cost per acquisition?
3. Client retention and loyalty. What's your churn rate? What's the lifetime value of a client?
4. Market penetration. What's your market share? Are you successfully entering new markets or diversifying?
And 5. Operational efficiency. Operating costs, sales cycle length, team productivity.
Russ emphasizes consistent tracking, tailoring KPIs to your business, and really understanding why metrics change.
Yeah.
And involve everyone in spotting and responding to those changes.
Makes sense. It's a holistic view. Okay, now let's look at Tayfun PARLAK's article on innovation and emerging technologies, enhancing client experiences through VR and R.
Tayfun really focuses on the practical impact of VR and AR and AEC, drawing parallels with retail where these technologies are already making waves.
He kicks off by noting the huge growth in AR/VR in retail, the projected market value, and how consumers are often willing to pay more for AR-enhanced experiences.
Plus, retailers using them see fewer returns and higher conversion rates.
Yeah.
Tangible benefits.
He gives clear definitions. AR overlays digital info onto the real world. VR creates fully immersive digital spaces. Think IKEA's AR app or Nike using VR for design.
Tayfun then outlines 7 key areas in AEC where VR can boost client experience. First, immersive design presentations.
VR lets clients walk through a design before it's built. AR overlays info onto a real site. He mentions Foster Plus partners using VR.
He acknowledges challenges, maybe complexity for some users, headset discomfort, but also how AI can enhance decision-making within these experiences.
Second area, improved client engagement. These immersive tools naturally get clients more involved.
Real-time interaction, personalization, like BMW's virtual car configurators. Deloitte found AR users felt more engaged. VR increased dwell time.
Third, informed decision-making. VR gives a much better feel for scale, proportions, function, leads to more confident client choices.
Like experiencing lighting or acoustics virtually, IKEA's AR app helps check furniture fit. Warby Parker's virtual try-on cut returns. Combining AI and VR can boost this further with risk analysis and scenario evaluation.
Fourth, enhanced marketing and project buy-in. Immersive experiences are memorable. They showcase innovation and value.
Like Tesla using AR/VR for virtual models, stats show consumers prefer retailers offering AR. There are even psychological triggers involved. Future trends include AI, the metaverse, 5G haptics.
Fifth, streamlined communication and collaboration. VR creates a common platform for clients and teams to view designs together. Fewer misunderstandings.
He mentions Microsoft HoloLens with Teams for remote collaboration, but notes cost and tech hurdles can still be barriers.
Sixth, feedback and iteration. Real-time feedback during virtual walkthroughs speeds up design, increases satisfaction. User testing in VRR refines designs.
BMW using AR for customer feedback on vehicle design is an example.
And seventh, training and skill development. AEC pros need training to use VRR effectively. Firms need to foster innovation.
Walmart's VR employee training is a retail example. VR is great for hazardous scenario training in AEC. AI can personalize VR training too.
Tayfun then quickly reviews specific retail examples. Amazon, Lowe's, Sephora, Tesla, Walmart, all leveraging AR/VR in different ways.
He concludes that VR can revolutionize client interactions in AEC, better understanding, engagement, satisfaction, collaboration, success.
And his recommendations. Develop affordable smartphone-compatible solutions, prioritize AI-enhanced AR/VR, offer education and demos, invest in infrastructure.
Great practical advice. Okay, last article. Richard Schreiber on the AI advantage in business development, transforming consulting and BIM.
Richard's core message is that AI isn't future tech anymore. It's a present-day necessity for AEC business development. It enhances efficiency, personalization, strategic decision-making.
He breaks it down into AI in consulting and AI in BIM. First, AI in business development consulting.
Number 1, lead generation and qualification. AI analyzes data to find high-potential leads.
2, customer engagement and personalization. Tools like ChatGPT or HubSpot CRM help craft tailored messages based on past interactions.
3, workflow automation. AI handles repetitive tasks like scheduling, Calendly, or follow-ups, Zapier, freeing up consultant time.
4, predictive analytics. AI analyzes historical data to predict market trends and customer needs, informing strategy.
5, competitive analysis. Platforms like Crayon or similar web monitor competitors automatically.
6, enhanced reporting and analysis. AI provides deeper insights from data for better decisions.
7, improved resource allocation. AI optimizes consultant assignments, automates admin tasks like client onboarding, more efficient.
And 8, scenario modeling and risk assessment. AI simulates scenarios for better strategic planning and crisis management.
Then Richard turns to AI in BIM, building smarter and faster.
First application, automated model generation. AI creating BIM models from 2D drawings or point clouds. Saves time, improved accuracy.
Second, clash detection and error reduction. AI algorithms finding clashes and issues early in design, saves cost and rework.
Third, predictive maintenance. AI analyzing building data to predict maintenance needs, reducing downtime.
Fourth, energy efficiency optimization. AI suggesting design tweaks for better energy performance.
And fifth, cost estimation and project management. AI providing more accurate cost estimates, optimizing schedules and resource allocation.
Richard finishes by emphasizing the significant advantage AI offers and asks directly, are you ready to embrace it? A strong concluding thought.
Absolutely. Okay, let's quickly recap the week with Russ Monrose's summary for Week 8, Business Development Strategies for Growth.
Russ basically brings it all together. BD strategies are vital for navigating competitive AEC markets, securing long-term success by finding opportunities and meeting client needs.
He highlights the land and expand approach again, great for building trust and repeat business in AEC.
He stresses how new tech like AI and ML are transformative, enabling data analysis, trend prediction, tailored strategies, improving efficiency, and client relationships.
And the importance of careful, accurate business metrics, KPIs like client acquisition cost, project profitability, client retention for evaluating performance and adjusting course.
He gives a final reminder about the workbook as a tool to implement these lessons and encourages feedback.
He also notes the diverse global backgrounds of the contributors, making the advice really robust and valuable, and urges everyone to use the workbook to structure their growth journey.
A good summary of a very dense week.
And with that, this concludes business development. Next week, we'll start a new program.